Hi, Maria here. Welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to share with you ethereal fragrances. So fragrances that are almost otherworldly. They're fairy-like, elf-like, angelic, but they're just all absolutely beautiful. So slightly whimsical. They just make me think of otherworldly things. I'm excited to share, but before I get started, if you haven't subscribed, just go ahead and hit that button, join the Weird and Wonderful family. It would be amazing to have you part of the community, and let's get into this. So the first ethereal fragrance that I have is actually new to my collection, and this is a company that I had never smelt anything from, and they gifted this to me, which I thought was so sweet. So the name of the company is Ruse and Ruse, and the fragrance is Angelica Flu. So even the name is perfect. It smells like an elevated version of La Vie Belle. So it's definitely different, and it's the patchouli that gives it that La Vie Belle feel, I think. So the patchouli is similar, but this is an absolutely gorgeous fragrance. It smells quite fruity, even though there's no fruit in it. So there's Angelica in it, which is slightly green. There's anise, there's pink and black peppers in here. But what really stands out is the iris. So there's, I think, jasmine in here as well. The iris is definitely present, and a slight spiciness from that anise with a little whisper of green. Definitely has a lot of iris in it. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's slightly whimsical. There's an airiness to it, so it's not too heavy. So this is definitely one that I feel would be fine for spring and summer. Very classy, but I can see this being majorly pleasing to guys. So if you want a fragrance that's a little bit like whatever that guys are gonna like, I'd say go for this one. But it is definitely something that I think you can wear during the day. It's classy, it's sophisticated, but there's also a bit of whimsy to it. So love it. Now, I'm noticing that quite a few of this have powdery qualities to it. I think part of it is that just feels a little bit ethereal. My next one, I've mentioned it quite a few times lately, is Kryptonite by Khalil T. The star of the show in this one is iris again. This one has iris, but it feels a little bit more sparkly. This one smells a little bit more powdery and velvety. This one has a little bit of a green quality, smells a little bit earthy. But it feels cloud-like somehow, like you're walking on a cloud of iris. So I just imagine like a fairy, a garden fairy. She's flitting from iris to iris. She relaxes in the iris for a while, kicks back, enjoys the sun, looks at the butterflies, and then decides to flit off to some other place. She is wearing Kryptonite. So that kind of fragrance. Now that said, all of these I would say are very classy, but there is that whimsy to it. So I love this fragrance. It's just beautiful. A fragrance that I've always felt was my Elf Queen fragrance is Amethyst by Lalique. Amethyst has a lot of fruit notes in it, but they're not like sweet fruit notes. So a lot of times when I see strawberry in a fragrance, I instantly think strawberries and cream, or strawberry ice cream, that kind of feel. This is not like that at all. This is like you've picked all the berries, strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, and you've used one of those scooper things, and it's got some of the leaves in there, some of the wood stalks. That's what it smells like. It's really woody and green, along with a bunch of quite underripe berries is what I get. There's an aquatic quality to this, or watery, that feels almost as if you've made some sort of tea or concoction out of these. So I just imagine a beautiful elven princess. She walks through the forest with bare feet, but this beautiful kind of white flowy gown with some sort of purple velvet cloak, and she's walking on the moss, and she's walking through kind of the dampness of the forest, and so she comes out smelling like this fragrance because she's taken on the aura of the forest. That is this fragrance. So I find this one very calming, relaxing, just almost like a mist. It feels almost like a mist. So love Amethyst by Lalique, and this is really, really affordable as well. Amethyst Eclat is also very nice. It's a little bit sweeter than this one. but it's also very, very nice fragrance. The next one is Dua's Be in Love with Pistachio Gelato. Now this is supposed to be a mixture of their own creation, which was pistachio gelato, and Love Don't Be Shy. So I would say it's like maybe 20% Love Don't Be Shy and 80% pistachio gelato. This is so scrumptious, and this one is not one that I would normally think of as ethereal because it's so gourmand, but it kind of smells like a big, fluffy, delicious fairy. Like this. This isn't angelic, but there's such a fluffiness to it that I think fairies. So the fairy that smells like this, she's a little bit chubby, like she's one of those little pixie fairies again. She's a little bit chubby. She really loves partaking in pistachios. In fact, she loves them so much, she's gotten like quite fluffy herself, and she wears a little pistachio cap. So she's kind of created this little pistachio cap for herself. And sometimes it looks more like a helmet than a cap, and she's really quirky. That is Be in Love with Pistachio Gelato. She finds pistachios and honey and florals and kind of mixes it all together and makes herself her own little concoction of dessert. And she has partaked so much that she's almost too heavy to fly. So like she gets her wings going, but she's a little bit like a bumblebee because she's eaten too much gelato. But anyway, she is so darling and she's so happy, and she's like a warm hug. Like she comes in and you just love spending time with her because she's so full of love. That's this fragrance in a nutshell. I absolutely love this fragrance. It's whimsical, it's fun, and so comforting. Like seriously, it's delicious. It's delicious. Next fragrance that smells totally angelic to me is Love at First Sight. I don't know what it is. This to me isn't fairy-like. This is angelic. So when I smell this fragrance, I think of a beautiful angel that has slept in a bed of lilacs and comes out and starts flying around, and you can smell the lilac. You know, as they're flying, you can smell this beautiful lilac. That's what this smells like. This as well has a hint of green in it to me. There's passion fruit in this as well. And I definitely get the passion fruit, but it's like whispers. This whole thing reminds me somehow of whispers. It's so beautiful. So it's a whisper of lilac. You're smelling lilac on the air. You're smelling passion fruit on the air. You're smelling a hint of green on the air. It's spring air and an angel is flying by you. That's the feel of this fragrance. This one is slightly whimsical, but just ethereal. I just think this is a stunningly gorgeous fragrance. Now, I associate it with feminine because of the lilac, but my father smelt this and he thought of this. He smelt it blind, so he didn't see any of the bottle, and he thought that it was more unisex. So it definitely, and it's marketed as unisex. So don't be afraid of this one if you're a guy. It's completely different. Like I think that's the other thing about all of these fragrances. They all have kind of a different quality to them. So love this one. Totally the epitome of ethereal. Next one that's like whimsical, kind of fairy-like fragrance is Malow by Soradora. I am so in love with this fragrance. Although this has a marshmallow raspberry, powdery quality with the violet in there. Although it has that, there's something very powerful and majestic about this at the same time. I'm just in love with the violet in this. I think it's gorgeous. This one to me is also more ethereal somehow. I think it's that violet, but this is an angelic being that's quite fun and whimsical themselves. So although it feels a little more ethereal than fairy-like, it's got that whimsical quality because of the raspberry, I think. Oh, I just love this fragrance. Like I could wear it literally every day. And part of it is I'm just addicted to the violet. So I love raspberry, one of my favorite notes of all time, but it's the violet in this that is so addictive to me. So never have I been a violet fan, but I am slowly loving violet and iris so much. So love the violet in this. I just think it's perfection. Absolutely perfect. And especially if you like that raspberry quality in there too. Oh, it's just amazing. But yeah, a little bit of fluffiness, a little bit of sweetness. So gorgeous. So, so gorgeous. Another fragrance that I don't have that I think is absolutely whimsical and fairy-like and perfect for spring is Melora. That is such a gorgeous fragrance. It's got some black currant in it, slightly green again, a little bit watery, so refreshing, sweet, delicious. I put it on and I feel like this. I just love that fragrance. To me, Melora is again an elf princess type fragrance with slight black currant, some green, a little bit watery, refreshing. It's just beautiful. Now the last one is absolutely stunning. Like, this fragrance is amazing, and it's a loaner from Hesse. She first let me smell it. She got it kind of midwinter, and I'm like, this is beautiful. I don't know if I've smelt a more beautiful fragrance recently. It's just so, so gorgeous, and it's called Delirious by Renier or Renier. I'm not sure, but this is absolutely beautiful. This has a ton of notes in it, but it's literally nothing that I've ever smelt before. Like, it is so unique, sophisticated, classy. This is totally an angelic fragrance as well, like totally ethereal. It's light, it's sophisticated, it smells like wealth. It smells like you're some sort of, it's not like a pixie fairy, but a fairy from some sort of Celtic realm that is so regal and beautiful, but she smells slightly green and she smells like the air in that realm, and the realm is intoxicating. Like, seriously, this is one of the most beautiful fragrances I have ever smelt. I don't know what it is about it. It's just spectacular. There's definitely a green quality in here. It smells delicate and air-like, but so regal and sophisticated. You need to smell this one. Like, seriously, out of all of these, they're all great. They're all amazing fragrances. But this is one that you definitely need to get your nose on. Like, get a sample of it. It's so beautiful, especially if you like green fragrances. And it's not too green. Like, sometimes fragrances can be too green. This is just a beautiful, refreshing green. Then you get florals and some earthiness and a little bit of spice in there. It's complex, very, very complex, but absolutely stunning. This is, I have no words, honestly. I don't even know how to describe it really, because it's so beautiful. So there's this earthy quality. It's ethereal. Like, that's the only way I can describe it. Ethereal. So you really, really do need to sniff this one. It's so beautiful. If you've smelt it, weigh in about this one because it's so gorgeous. When I put the fragrance on, it brings this regal, grounded, calming feel. That's the only way I can describe it. Like, this is a fragrance that I would definitely be wearing if I was like feeling stressed. This is one that I would actually put on to decompress because it's so beautiful, but it's still so classy. To me, a fragrance like this could definitely be a signature scent. You could wear it all year round. It's so beautiful for spring and summer. But yeah, like, I'm so impressed with this one. I can't even get over it. It's definitely considered unisex. And interestingly, on Fragrantica, it compares these two. I don't think that they're alike, but they're in the same family. And interestingly, this was my angelic fragrance. This too is angelic. Like, they're both just absolutely ethereal, beautiful, classy, sophisticated. But honestly, I think I love this one a little bit more. Maybe it's because it's new, but I'm just so impressed with it. It's complex with that green earthiness. There's a little hint of fruitiness in it. It's just perfect. It's perfection, honestly, perfection. So those are my ethereal, fairy-like fragrances. Some of them are whimsical, some of them are regal. What about you? Do you have any fragrances that are like that just make you feel either like a happy little fairy, or like an absolute gorgeous elven queen, or like some sort of ethereal creature from another world? What are your favorites? Leave them in the comments. And if you've tried any of these, please weigh in and let me know what you think, because it's always good to be able to hear from other people, especially when I'm bringing to you new fragrances like this that are maybe a little less known. Definitely weigh in about them so that people can hear what your thoughts are as well. Because my opinion is just another opinion. So it's always good to get other viewpoints of the same fragrance, because we all smell things differently. So that is it. I hope you have an amazing week. I hope at some point during the week you feel like an ethereal, angelic creature, or at least a whimsical, weird fairy. I think I feel like a whimsical, weird fairy most of the time. Just sparkling around. That's what I do. I just whimsically sparkle around and I love it. Anyway, have an amazing week. We'll talk to you soon.